Hello and welcome to Co-ople Mode, a couple's opinion on gaming. I'm Matt.
I'm Rose.
And we're back from the alien planet mines where we were looking for those sweet, sweet relics. Do you yearn for the mines, Rose? Have you heard that meme?
Is that from The Lord of the Rings?
No.
Oh.
People...
I just thought Mines of Mordor immediately.
I got to give you props. I appreciate that.
I was trying to remember, when did they say that? I don't remember that.
Someone posted about how, way back in the day before there were child labor laws, kids would be in the mines.
Yeah.
And then, you can't do that anymore. And then Minecraft comes out and that's all kids want to play. And someone made a comment on this post was, the children, they yearn for the mines.
Oh my
And
God.
so it became a meme. They yearn for the mines. And that's it for this week in meme history. Yeah, funny but not funny.
So our next video game that we make should be kids climbing through tight tubes and tunnels.
Oh God,
chimney sweep.
Claustrophobia. I don't like thinking about
Clean
that.
the chimney flue.
You want to know what's funny? You could make a chimney sweep game that would probably actually be enjoyable. That's how wild video games are. You can make them about anything and they can be good.
Yeah, look at those ones that you play on the VR, the restaurant one where one of us...
The job simulator one,
God,
right?
That's a fucking terrible game, but we play it and we like playing it.
Diner Duo, yeah.
Oh my God.
Yep.
I waitressed a lot in my lifetime, okay? Waitressing sucks and is really, really hard work. And people are jerks.
And unappreciative work.
Yeah, right?
Yep.
And you work so hard for such little pay. And then what do? I play this stupid Diner Duo game where I'm a server and too many people come in at once and everybody wants something stupid and different.
Yep.
And you're trying to get the cook to cook the right thing and not mess up.
And you don't even have a notepad to write it down unless you write it down in real life.
Oh my goodness. And it's fun. And I don't know how. But after a while, it gets hard enough that I start feeling that same old anger inside that I thought was dormant and gone.
I like to play certain farming simulators like Harvest Moon. And
You knew a guy that liked to play trucking simulator.
Yeah, there's those trucking ones. People like that.
Driving trucks.
I think it's just something.
Humans suck. That's kind of the moral of the story, right?
We're interesting creatures, I guess.
This is a bad way to start this.
What a
podcast.
cold open, folks.
I'm so sorry.
Humans suck. Not we're just weird. We can get dopamine from so many different things. And here's the thing. You play Euro Truck Simulator and you get sick of what's going on in the game. Guess what you can do? You can just freaking go into oncoming traffic and flip your semi-trailer truck and you don't die.
And walk away.
Yeah, exactly.
And that's the beauty of it. That's what makes a video game fun.
Yep, it's on your time. You have any idea what I'm doing?
I don't know. You were trying to tease something about Monster Hunter, so I guess we're going to play the Monster Hunter expansion.
No,
I don't know what.
We're not playing the Monster Hunter expansion. I'm sorry.
That's a bummer. That's disappointing.
We're doing something else. We are having a little, I could call it a recap episode of sorts.
Oh.
I want to go back to a couple games that we played now that you have a year's worth of gaming on your belt. And I want to hear
what color belt is it?
Rainbow.
What? That's not a real... There's no karate master with a rainbow belt out there, is there?
Hey, black holds all the colors of the spectrum, baby. So does white.
Black wasn't the highest.
It's like a... Black belt isn't the highest. There's 1 Dan, 2 Dan, 3 Dan. It's all black belts, but you have stripes on it. Anyways, moving on in the conversation, we are going to... Don't question me about my martial arts. I'm a nerd.
That's why I asked. I legitimately wanted to know, and I knew you would know.
We are going to go back to the very first episode we ever did, Hitman 3.
Okay.
And I want to see how you feel about it after you've had a lot more experience of different games. And we are also going to go back to Monster Hunter World.
Oh, okay.
It's a double game episode. 2 times the games, 2 times the fun, probably twice as long. Hopefully not. So we're going to go back and try these games. And I thought this would be interesting because I started you on Hitman 3. Mm-hmm. We're going to come back to that and see how you feel. And also, we've been playing a lot. We played a lot of Monster Hunter Rise.
Yes.
and we're excited for Sunbreak, and I still am, and I want to go play. But I thought it would be interesting to go back to World and kind of see how that feels and see how you feel about that.
This is what Blue Balls is like, right? Where you make me play Monster Hunter World.
I'm going to edge you with Monster Hunter World.
So mean.
We're edging together, I guess. And now this episode is now explicit. Moving on.
Sorry.
It's funny though. It's so good. So if you are interested in hearing about Rose's original opinions on these games, episode 1 is Hitman 3, the penultimate first episode, and episode 5 was Monster Hunter World. So I'm going to do a super quick run through. Hitman 3, the World of Assassination trilogy, has all the Hitman 1 and 2 maps on there. You can play the story mode. It's great. It came out and was released January 20th of 2021. Is the 8th mainline release in the Hitman franchise and was developed by IO Interactive. And Hitman 3 really boosted their profits. Like, big game for them. Did fun. Great. It is a good game.
Yes. I'm excited to go back and mess around with that some more, because that's one that I liked, but it just wasn't high up enough to get me to get
I think I just kept hitting you with new things like Inscription. Was episode 2 or 3? It was really early on.
I think Inscription was 2.
That hit you super hard.
That hit me real hard.
And then Monster Hunter World came out, and it's like, okay, forget about it. I think I hit you with so many.
Slime Rancher.
Yeah, Slime Rancher.
Oh my goodness.
So, again, Hitman 3 sitting at 88 on Metacritic. Still doing great.
Where it should
holding strong. It should be an amazing, wonderful game. Yeah. I've been dipping my toes back in it because I believe I talked about this when the episode came out. Is the roguelite freelancer mode came out?
Oh yeah, you vaguely mentioned that.
Yep. So essentially, you pick different syndicates or criminal organizations to hit. And you have all these different missions you have to go to. You 3 missions, beat a boss mission, and then you get to pick another folder. 3 missions.
You tried that in front of me.
Yes, I was playing it in front of you. And here's the thing. Here's the kicker. I really enjoyed the story mode of Hitman. I love all the different things you can do. I love that you can listen to people's conversations, and it leads to new assassination opportunities or new ways to get around the map, right? And I think that's such a cool thing. The story mode is so thought out every map, and there's so many different ways you can handle it. Mm-hmm. I do think that playing through the story mode before you play Freelancer is a smart idea.
I don't want to try Freelancer.
No, that's okay. You don't have to jump into Freelancer. I would suggest just getting to try some new maps.
I just got to be able to remember what button does what. That's my main concern.
Yeah, that took me a minute. Now, here's the kicker. I really did enjoy the Freelancer. It's some randomization. You can carry a few items from your base, your safe house, and as you level up in Freelancer, you unlock new rooms in your safe house. There's a firing range you can unlock, or just different cool rooms to relax in, like the house, or a rooftop, not a rooftop picnic table or whatever. There's all these kind of cool things you can eventually get. But when you go out on these missions, anything you grab that's of a high enough rarity in the system, and you exit the map with that, you get to keep them and throw them in. So you can collect more stuff every time you go out, which is kind of a cool mechanic. They also have what they call their missions. And if you do these missions, you get 3 per every assassination you go through. You do those, you get money that you can use to buy special stuff off a salesman that'll be on the map somewhere. There'll be some guy selling you guns and goodies.
That's kind of cool.
Which is kind of fun because you never know what you're going to get in that shop either. So you can save up your money until you find something you really, really want. And every time you complete one, you come back, there's a supply drop. You get to pick from one of 3 items. You can find supply drops out on the maps. There's all these different ways to kind of collect and build out your safe house so you can have all the stuff you want, right? The hard part is in this roguelite, there's no saving in the middle of a mission.
Oh, that's
So the nice thing about the story mode is hey, I don't know if this is going to work. I kind of want to give it a try, or I want to see what happens. You stop the game, you save it.
Yeah.
And if it goes real bad, which happens, you can be like, I'm just going to load back up. Yeah, you can go and like, okay, let's try it another way. So it really promotes experimenting with how you go about stuff, which is really good for the story mode, right?
Yeah.
You can't do this in the roguelite. So knowing the maps ahead of time really helps you get around the maps.
It's all about playing it multiple times then.
Yeah. So, and here's the thing. If I kept playing it, it's hard because it takes a minute, and I try to be very careful, but I've always gotten noticed or I made a mistake at some point, and then you can't go back. Like,
yeah, that's hard.
Yeah, that makes it really tough, but it also kind of makes it more exciting in a way. It's like I got caught poisoning this cup, and the guy I was supposed to assassinate, it wasn't even like lethal poison. It was the poison that makes them go throw up.
Oh.
And that was one of my missions, poisoning him using any kind of poison, right? I made sure he wasn't nearby, and then I was trying to sneak out to this glass. I almost got caught by someone walking by. Okay, walk back. Okay, walk back over. I start pouring the poison. Literally, all of a sudden, my assassination target's right there like, hey, what are you doing? Don't do that. And I'm like, okay, I'm just going to walk away now. And I walk into this like little closet room. He follows me, and I just took this crowbar I had, and I'm just like, dong, and just hit him in the head. Snap his neck, throw him in the cupboard. A guard comes in, hammer, dong, snap him, like throw him in the cupboard, and I'm like, I gotta get the hell out of here. They're looking for me. And I just like, I was like, I wonder how long I could go just piling up bodies in this little room.
Oh, it makes me remember that sweaty excitement of playing Hitman. It is so fun.
Hitman's so interesting about like, even though you're like moving slowly, you're being calm, like
your heart's pumping.
Yeah, it can be so intense. It's like this weird form of calm intenseness, right? Yes. And that's what's so fun about Hitman. And I have to say, I have had fun playing it again. I've been playing it on the Xbox, because it is still on the Xbox Game Pass, which is a wonderful thing. But all my like storyline save stuff is on the computer. So like I don't want to start the story over again and start from the beginning. So I was like, I'll just do Freelancer. That's got its own set of levels and stuff like that. So it is kind of fun to like just jump into these maps. I got into a map I've never been in before. And because the cool thing about Hitman 3 and IO Interactive is they've released new maps. There's like an arcade mode where you can play other maps that aren't in the story mode. So there's like all these cool locations that are in Freelancer that I'm like, I don't remember this one. And that's because I didn't play all the extra stuff. I just focused on the story, and that's my own fault. But it is just like, it just reminds me why this game is so fun, why it's like just a good time to play.
There's not another game like that for me.
No, and I really feel like I played some of the old Hitman games, and this one is by far the best. And even if it was just this Freelancer mode, like it would still be a great game. But I really do appreciate you story mode where I can save scum. I know it sounds horrible, but I like to experiment, and let me experiment like consequence free, please. That makes games more fun sometimes. Yes, it's research. It's research. But I don't think there's a whole lot more to add. I think if you really want to dive deeper into Hitman 3 and the World of Assassination trilogy, go back and listen to our first episode again. Yep. Like, I have a lot of info. I do know that the auto quality isn't as good as we are now because we have a better mic setup now. But I think it's still good enough for
power through, you big baby.
I think it is still one of our top listened to episodes right now.
That's cool.
That, and honestly, Monster Hunter World, which we're going to talk about here in just like 2 seconds. Woo! Let's get moving.
We can do that Iceborne content.
Yeah, that's the thing. I thought maybe we can like sneak in and finish off Iceborne. It'll probably let's be smart and like take a couple easier hunts to ease ourselves back into it before just
going right to the biggest, baddest thing I can find. No,
I'm gonna fight Velkhana right now.
That does sound like a good idea. I gotta because there are differences between World and Rise, and I'm gonna have to get the swing of it again for sure.
There's gonna be a little bit of an adjustment period, and I think this is,
and then we'll fuck that all up by going back to Rise.
I know,
which is fine. Because I do want to do the Iceborne content.
I am going to miss the wire bugs and the dog. Like the movement in Rise.
The Palamute. Yes, my sweet, sweet friend.
The movement in Monster Hunter Rise is so good, and like it really lets you get around these maps so quickly. I think the verticality sometimes on this map leads you to miss things sometimes. You got to until you play through and explore multiple times. And the fact that you always know where the monster is right away. Like this Rise is made to get you into the combat as quickly as possible, where World I think is a little more about being willing to explore and find new things. Like I think that's the different.
I mean, and it's not even a negative.
No,
right?
it's not a negative. It's just a different way to approach it. Yeah.
I get that.
Like I said in our Monster Hunter Rise schedule, like Rise originally came out and was a Nintendo Switch exclusive until it finally came out on computer and PlayStation and Xbox now. So the whole point was like, hey, if you're playing Switch on a bus and you're playing with some other guy, like you need to get into the action quick so you can like, you know, you can get the hunt over. You can like, don't run out of battery in the middle of a hunt, right? And that's what that's much more what the Switch is about. Like get into it, get it quick and get out. Like you can move through it just a little bit quicker. So it'll be exciting when we do come back. Monster Hunter World was released January 2018. So a few years older. It is the 5th mainline installment of the Monster Hunter series and also still the best-selling Capcom game. Monster Hunter World and Iceborne. Like, I think it's at like over...
It was the Iceborne content that pushed it over, wasn't it?
Well, just Monster Hunter World, like as of December 2021, it was 17.8 million copies sold worldwide. I believe... Since I looked up Rise, I think it's over 18 million copies now.
Wow.
And Rise was, I think, at almost 8 or 9 million copies. So, like, they were both really huge because Iceborne, the Iceborne expansion alone sold 8.8 million copies back in the day.
Now
so, like, huge numbers. And, like, I've just been so excited for what Capcom's got around the corner.
It's interesting to think about. Like, does that mean people like the slower pace of World and the more intense work that you have to do versus, like you said, Rise is more about getting in, getting out? I mean, a hunt still takes you a
similar amount of time. Yeah. I
just wonder why Rise hasn't sold as many or more because I thought it was done super well.
I came across a Reddit post because the Sunbreak is at the end of its content releases pretty soon.
Okay.
So after that's over, everything will be released for Monster Hunter Rise /Sunbreak, and then you can like that's all that's going to be, except like maybe little extra events or something like that.
Sure.
So people are like, oh, does that mean Monster Hunter World 2 is around the corner, right? I want the next mainline game. And someone's like, what the hell do you think Rise is? Like, people were like, are you crazy? Rise is an amazing game. And I think it's just how people view it, because I think they thought of this Monster Hunter Rise. It was for the Switch. It's not as good. It's
just as full. It's like all the same stuff.
I know.
There's nothing in it that's like, it's not dumbed down in any way. It's not streamlined.
The only thing that's lowered is the graphic realism. It's still very colorful and vibrant and looks amazing, but like you got to agree that Monster Hunter World does look like amazing.
You know what? It's been a while. I don't remember it being that different, so it will be good to go back and look.
Exactly. This is why I wanted to do it. I thought it would be interesting.
Is it really that much better? Because I think about playing Monster Hunter Rise, and I felt like that looked totally great. I don't have a problem with it.
So people were excited. There was a bit of an argument in that comment section, but I think it's really this. I really feel like World is probably the best Monster Hunter onboarding game. I think
I don't know. I feel like Rise
is good, but that first hour is so bad.
Oh, I forgot about that.
That first hour is so bad. So World is much better at being like, hey, this is what you do for like, and like in some ways that's a pain, but at least it's like, hey, this is what you do. But Rise is like text block, text block, text block, text block. You moved the icon one down in your metal, text blocks. Like
that was so bad. I didn't even want to play.
The beginning of The beginning of Rise was like, so
fuck this. I'm
rough.
Not doing this damn game.
But once you get past that, it's so good.
Because I loved the world so much too. Partly,
exactly.
I was like, there's no way this is going to be as good. It started off so badly with all of those crazy text block tutorial things that, again, there are some differences in the game. And for somebody that's not a long-time player like me, it's like, I don't even know what you're referring to here. You have all these words, and I don't know what any of them mean. And it's like,
I don't think you think that words mean what you think it does.
Yeah, it's like, no, explain like I'm 5, but later when I need to know, stop telling me things that I am not going to care about for like the first month of playing this game. Because let's be honest, Monster Hunter is huge. There's a lot of things to do. You don't need to know all the things you can do right away.
Nope.
Feed it slow.
Yep, let it trickle.
Yeah, because it's overwhelming as shit to a new player. I totally just blocked that out, how bad that was. You're right. Monster Hunter World wins in that way.
But, I mean, that's how good Monster Hunter is after the fact, is that you have so much fun afterwards that you're like,
I totally forgot about it.
So,
it's like having babies.
Yeah, right? I forgot how bad that hurt.
Yep.
Oh, my goodness. Yeah, so I still stand by that. I feel Monster Hunter World is the better onboarding Monster Hunter game for new players to the series. I'm not going to lie and say I wouldn't be excited for a Monster Hunter World 2.
Well, of course we would be. I'd be thrilled. But at the same time, like I said, greedy. Give them a minute. Let them breathe for a second.
Let it breathe for a minute.
Jeez.
I also think that part of the success of World was all the mainline Monster Hunters since hold on, let me think about this. Monster Hunter 1 and 2 were on the PlayStation 2. And then after that, they went to the PSP. They made the Monster Hunter Portable, Freedom Unite, and all the cool PSP games. And then the 3DS games, they made those.
Yeah.
Really great ports. Monster Hunter Tri was on the Nintendo Wii. The people had to wait so long for like a full console release of Monster Hunter. There's a lot of people that thought it was cool, and it just like exploded. It was the right time for it. It looked amazing. They did such a good job with it. Everybody was telling everybody to get in on it. And I think that's why it exploded so well, because you could get it on Xbox. You could get it on PlayStation right away. I think it came out on PC more recent, like after the fact. So like the mainline console players just ate it up. And I think that's why it became so successful. Because it was what everybody who played the portables wanted, was like a really amazing looking Monster Hunter.
Right.
And it's what all these people that were new to it needed to be able to get into it, because they really streamlined like the skill system. It's so easy now with the armor. The armor's like, hey, you get 1 point in this skill. Bam, it's active. You know, it wasn't like the crazy number system you have when you go back to the older ones. I almost should pull up my old Monster Hunter 3 Ultimate file and be like, hey, figure this out.
No.
That would be mean. I don't even want
to look at it.
I think it wouldn't be as bad as you think.
I think it would still be really rough, though.
But
you make it sound like I mean,
I'm gonna be honest. Like it just is. World and Rise are the best ones, and those are the ones you should play. I'm just gonna be honest. I'm happy for Capcom. I'm excited. I've said this before. Like I feel like they've hit their stride recently. Monster Hunter's more popular than ever worldwide, and I'm really happy that it is. And they put out, what was it? Let me think. Yeah, they put out Rise. They just recently released Street Fighter 6. And people are loving it. It's like you can create your own character. I've seen clips of you can run around this town and you can just pick a fight with anybody. So like you'll see this old man walking and this guy comes up and just like Hadokens him and they're like, oh, time to fight. And then of course it's an old man, so he's got like no health and he's super weak and you just whoop his ass right away. But it's like, I'm going to have to look into it a little more, but it sounds like a lot of fun. And they have another game I'm more excited about right now that's going to be coming out soon called Exo Primal. And it looks like a mix of a little bit of EA's Anthem with like having this cool kind of mech armor, and there's different classes, but you're fighting against these waves of dinosaurs. Like huge waves of dinosaurs, like thousands of rappers, like falling out of this time port. Rappers. Yeah, it's all 50 Cent and Ludacris. No. I'm putting this out into the world. When Exo Primal comes out on PC, whenever there's rappers, just let's have 100 M&Ms and 1,000 50 Cents, and that'd be hilarious.
Throw a Young Gravy in there, falling from the sky.
Oh my gosh, that sounds so hilarious. All right. But like it's all these dinosaurs are like falling through and they're just angry and you're trying to fight off and like it's a team base, so you got like a group of people you're working with to try to do these things.
Yeah. And
it is going to come out on Game Pass, which I'm excited for, so I get to try it. It's like Capcom had this old game called Dino Crisis. Yeah, and it was like Resident Evil but dinosaurs. So you're running around you're running around this island and like you'd be walking by a window and like freaking just a dinosaur will just bust through and you're like, oh god, shotgun, boom, like shoot him quick.
Funny.
And it was like old tank controls, which I'm gonna tell you, they were terrible. If anybody who's played an old Resident Evil, the controls to move your character around were terrible. It's like turn, press to go forward, turn, press to go forward. There was no strafing, like it wasn't good. And that's what Dino Crisis was, but I loved Dino Crisis too. I beat that game like 2 different times. That's how much I enjoyed it. And so like I think that's just this mix of things, but I've heard they already announced that one of the DLC packs you can get is you can get Ryo from Street Fighter and Guile from Street Fighter as like exosuit versions of themselves, so it looks like this robotic version of them with the hair, glowing eyes, and it's like doing freaking Kamehameha waves, essentially. That's what a Hadouken is, and like attacking dinosaurs. And it's like, okay, I'm here for it, Capcom. Let's make it wild. Let's do it. Like, give me it. Come on, let's get me Dante. Give me Beautiful Joe. Now that is a poll. If you recognize Beautiful Joe, oh.
Somehow they've been watching your dreams while you sleep.
I swear they have, like, because like I saw that and now, like I was already kind of excited for Exo Primal, but then I'm like, this is how they're gonna introduce the other skins in the game and that actually can do stuff. Like, oh my god, like, okay, let's do it. Let's get in it.
I'll marry you.
Yeah, I'll marry you, Capcom. Keep it up. Just please keep making good games. I love it. So I'm really excited for this. I thought it'd just be like, let's like touch base with some old stuff and see how we're feeling again.
Yeah, I feel like I'm starting to get a little bit brain broken with getting a new game constantly. So this will be kind of nice to like mellow out for a little bit.
Yeah, it's like you kind of know what you're getting into. So it's like you can just go in, experience it, enjoy it, and it'll be fun.
Turning me into such a consumer all the time.
I know that's the one unfortunate thing about this podcast is we just got to keep moving on to the next thing, and we do a bi-weekly podcast.
Yeah,
imagine doing a weekly.
I think about that sometimes and I'm like, oh my gosh, I feel like gaming would be coming out of my ears, like, although it would just have to be such a different thing. I'd have to be playing so much more.
Yeah,
you know,
maybe
I'd feel like I'd actually get to enjoy things a little more fully, but it's hard to say.
I think the only thing I think of is if in an ideal situation, if we were both able to focus on our podcast and our streaming, I think it would be easier to keep up and easier to try new things because you could put more time into it easier, right? Right now, between a full-time job and keeping up with the housework and doing all the things we have to do, it's hard to find time to play new games or keep up with the ones we're trying to do sometimes, especially when you get tired at the end of the day. It just happens. We work some hard jobs. I'm not going to lie. We lift a lot of heavy things. But I'm excited for this episode. I'm excited to see what you think. What's your excitement meter? How are you feeling?
I think like 9 out of 10. I'm pretty excited to... Even just talking about Hitman makes me excited to do it again.
It just makes you smile thinking about all the stupid things you can do.
That game.
Yeah.
I always remember the time I was so mad because I was trying to put on that maid's outfit and I couldn't get it to work and I didn't understand why.
Literally one of my favorite moments.
Rose, you are a man. How do you think that big bald man is going to look in that maid's outfit? And I was like, oh yeah. That's why it won't let me put it on.
Did you just assume my gender?
Yeah. That was so funny.
Oh my goodness.
And then just all the moments of like you said, saving before a point and then just fucking it up, going back, fucking it up a different way, going back, fucking it up again. It is so fun. And the excitement of it, I do really enjoy that so much.
Once in a while I'm playing Hitman and I'm like, you know what? F this, and I just start shooting everybody.
Just getting wild.
It's like you just gotta let it off like steam like that sometimes.
And then of course I'm excited to play some more Monster Hunter.
Yeah, me too. We haven't even had a chance to play regular Rise, let alone Sunbreak, and I am excited to get into some more Monster Hunter. And I would be so ecstatic if we can finish off the Iceborne content.
Well, we better go get to work.
I think we're pretty close, but we're going to get out of here. We're going to experience the monster world of assassination, and we'll see you guys in a little bit. Bye-bye. Welcome back from a couple different worlds of just killing things.
Very different worlds of killing things.
Very, very different. You're right. So let's hear. How you feeling? Like how do these games strike you now?
Well, you know what I did.
I do know what you did.
You know what I did. I said Monster Hunter World. Oh yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
And it was a lot of more Monster Hunter World than Hitman. I had a worry about that happening.
I can't really help myself. It's so hard. But oh my goodness. So getting back to Monster Hunter World, I have not played that since, it's been months and months. It's been a long time. Mm-hmm. And when Monster Hunter Rise came out, there was no need to go back to Monster Hunter World because I was all about Monster Hunter Rise.
Yes.
So opening up my save file on Monster Hunter World, I look at what I got going on and I'm like, what? How? Oh my gosh. I had a few moments where I just wanted to delete the whole thing and start over again.
It was bad.
It was so messed up. And I can't actually figure out, I had just crossed over to Master Rank. I was Master Rank 2, right?
Yep.
I actually can't figure out how I got that far with my stuff being so messed up. Just absolutely a wreck. I have no items. I have no monster parts. I'm rocking armor that's from high rank that's not that good. My weapons are crap. I don't know how I got that far. And the only reason is because you carried me through. Helping me tag team stuff and carrying me through got me that far. Because immediately I'm like, how am I... The defense difference in armor between what I should be wearing and what I was wearing is so big. It's almost 100% more. And I was being so stubborn. I remember.
Yes, you were.
I don't like any of these. I don't want to wear these armors. So of course I'm and I have no monster parts. I wasn't collecting stuff like I did in Monster Hunter Rise because I just didn't know better. My menu's all messed up. I have one really basic ass loadout that you made me make that I never paid attention to.
Yep.
So even just trying to go on a hunt again, I'm I got so much organizing to do and figuring this shit out. I got to make a loadout that's better than these. How was I doing this before?
I got to say, I was impressed at, I think we had gotten you to 2-star in Master Rank, and you were still rocking high rank Legiana armor, and you were holding on to that so hard. You're like, I'm not switching it till I get Master Rank Legiana, and it's and I was like, okay, fine. I told you, just make a basic armor, make the Banabara armor, the big 2-footed moose antler guy, and it's nope. You were so stubborn about it, and it's okay, just don't die.
So I try to go on a hunt, and the monster looks at me, and half of my health is gone.
Yeah, it was rough.
There's just you cannot have enough max potions to carry you through. So I decided I got a lot of bones. That's cool. That's the only thing I have a surplus of. Bone armor it is. Just something, because anything is better. It was 200 more defense points or something. It was ridiculous. It made the hunting so much easier.
Yeah, there's that point when you switch from low rank to high rank in these games, and especially from high rank to master rank, the jump is
it's
in
extreme.
Difficulty is huge. It's almost it almost feels like starting from the beginning again. but you're getting cooler, better stuff that will get you to a point that you feel so super amazing. But like having that defense is so important, and being 200 short of where you should be means like, hey, the monster walked over, turned fast, and bumped into you, and you lost half your health instead of like a sliver.
Yes.
Yeah, you can't be doing that.
Oh, that first hunt was rough. It was hard. And I was just like, oh, delete everything.
Yep,
Start
done.
over.
I want to be a baby again.
Yep.
Start over. And it's like, we can't start this whole game from the beginning again.
I was thinking about doing it anyway, no matter what you said. But I was like, okay, I could get it straightened out. But even now, like, I've been playing it, and there is just, I feel like I have so much work to do just to get to where I should be at this point in the game.
Yeah.
Like, I need to do so much. I didn't do any side quests. I was doing nothing, you guys. I mean, and it's so funny because on Monster Hunter Rise, I'm doing like every side quest I can. I'm collecting all the stuff. I'm making it with my crafting recipes. I can't believe what a difference it is. And so the big realization for me was like, I was playing Monster Hunter, but I had no idea how to play Monster Hunter. And I do feel like I am much more knowledgeable now at this point after Monster Hunter Rise. But another interesting part and like a hard part going back into it was in Monster Hunter Rise, I started rocking the dual blades, and there's some awesome ass moves in Monster Hunter Rise with the dual blades because of the
optional skill system to change
optional
things.
Skill system and your wire bug.
Yes.
The wire bug element of Monster Hunter Rise really made it possible for me to use dual blades and like fight flying monsters with no problem. And then eventually I tried out the insect glaive, which again, it's great for on the ground. You can also get height and hit flying monsters up in the air like a champ, you know, and especially with your wire bug abilities. But going back to Monster Hunter World, I had continuously been using the switch axe, and I felt so slow. I wanted to die. Like, it feels like it takes forever to swing that thing around.
Yep.
And then to get a second swing, that monster's moved 5 times by the time your second swing is going. Like, it was really, really hard to adjust to that. And then you don't have those fancy extra skill sets and skill moves. And then you don't have the wire bug element in the same way as Monster Hunter Rise. So that really made me grounded, which I kind of hated because there's no way for me to help out at certain points if there is a flying monster. Like, I gotta just wait. We did fight a Legiana together.
Yes.
Now, I fought that monster so many times before in Monster Hunter World because I wanted the weapon and the armor. But, like, going back to this and trying to hit that thing with a switch axe on the ground, like, I just hated it. I hated the way it felt. It was so frustrating to me. But, I mean, we did it.
Yeah, absolutely.
I think Monster Hunter Rise feels so much better to me. And like, I like Monster Hunter World. It's really fun. But playing Monster Hunter World just made me love Monster Hunter Rise more. All I could think about was like, I can't wait to just play Master Rank. I can't even talk. I get so excited about it. I just want to play Master Rank on Monster Hunter Rise. Yeah. That's all I want to do right now. And like, I do have a drive to keep going in World.
Yeah, I wanted to ask you about that. Like, do you want to try to finish out Iceborne content before we go back to Rise?
I do want to, because like there's a difference. There's still some monsters that I'm not super familiar with in that one, and things do work a little bit differently in World compared to Rise. Like in Rise, I got really attached to my flash bugs and throwing those down all the time.
Yeah.
And in World, like you can collect flash bugs, but it gives you flash pods.
Yeah. So
and you
put
have
them
to
in your slingshot.
do it in a slingshot. Yeah. I don't. It's not the fast, quick thing it is in Rise.
I disagree.
I just don't know how to do it.
I disagree. See, this is going back and playing World after playing so much Rise with you.
Yeah.
There are things that I really, really love in Rise. I love those
Rise
wire
is the
bugs.
better of the two. It's the best. It's the best. I love Monster Hunter Rise.
Debatable.
It's
I
the
think
best.
they're both really good. I love them both evenly, but being able to put my flash pods in my slingshot means I can aim my slingshot where I want it to be so much better instead of lobbing it. I feel like the lobbing it actually takes longer for me. I miss my window to shoot my flash pods a lot more.
I need you to show me how to use my slingshot again, because I actually don't remember.
Yeah, so that would be a problem. Yeah. That I can't. You didn't.
I didn't get a chance. I mean, it's one of those things where I'm like, I tried to figure it out, and it's just, and in the heat of the moment.
No, yeah, in the heat of the moment, it's really
like,
tough.
I'm not going to worry about it. I'm just going to use other things right now. But, and then the endemic life helpers in Rise. I'm so used to seeing like a sleep toad picking it up and carrying it around.
Yep.
And in World, you see a sleep toad and you
kick it.
and then everybody falls asleep. Like,
yep.
and it's cool, and I get that. It's kind of like having the flash bugs that you can grab in the moment that will flash. Not the collectible ones. It's nice to have like sleep toads and stuff around in the environment. When you're fighting, you might get lucky and be able to use those. But
absolutely,
I really, really love in Monster Hunter Rise how I can just grab those little buddies, take them with me, and I know where to find them if I want them against certain monsters. I love that part about Monster Hunter Rise. I think for me, I loved playing Monster Hunter World, and I really got into Monster Hunter, but I couldn't. There's so much to learn, and I didn't learn it
the first time.
I didn't really learn it the first time. Yeah.
No, you
really
just focused on having fun with big monster fights.
And when it got to Monster Hunter Rise, and I started from the beginning, and like I had a basic idea of what you do, I was able to expand on the knowledge so much more, like how to use gems in your armor and in your weapons. And like of course in World, I have none of that. Like I have no help on my accessories. Like I don't know how I just pummeled through so many levels like I did. But I think I've gotten this attachment to Monster Hunter Rise because it all kind of came together, and I'm actually able to use everything and understand how it works. And now I'm like imprinted on it. It's just, I love it.
And I think like, I get where you're coming from, because for me it was
it's got a fondness.
It was Monster Hunter Tri 3 that it clicked for me. I understood what I needed to do, right? I get that like attachment to that character. I still remember working so hard to get the Kaetus armor set and this big it was like it's like this stone looking armor with big horns, and the sword is a big water great sword with like glowing runes on the blade, and it's like super cool, right? I still remember that because like I got that game and I finally got into it, and I worked really hard on my things. And when you play the Monster Hunter games and you actually understand not just the fighting systems, but like how to get the most out of whatever your farm is, whatever your like Palico buddy gathering stuff is, like all these different things.
Even your skill sets on your armor and your weapons. Like I was not paying attention to that in Monster Hunter.
No, and now
and in Monster Hunter Rise, like I have built out for my dual blade fighting. Like I built out a whole armor set and put gems in it to make it so like I'm evading constantly. I'm moving super fucking fast. Like nobody can touch me. I am the Flash. And there is genuinely a difference in how your character reacts to things. Like that's what blew me away. Adding gems to stuff and like making sure that your skill sets are the best they can be with what armor you're equipping, you can feel the difference in how fast you move. And I think that's amazing. It actually makes it feel worth it to put in all the work to get this stuff made. Yeah. So again, in my save file on Monster Hunter World, it's like I'm starting from 0 in master rank. It's the weirdest feeling.
From true 0 feels like,
I have nothing of that built up or like ready to go. So I thought I would start it up and like start burning through the master rank and see some cool new monsters. And I really haven't like progressed the story at all. I did like one more story quest, I think. And the rest of it's just been me going out on expeditions to collect materials to upgrade my fucking weapons because they're trash, which just takes forever because for some reason I don't have a lot of stuff. Like, wasn't I grabbing things when I was running around? I thought I was.
Yeah, but I kept trying to tell you to work the farm because that's where a lot of the bulk stuff you can get from. Like, you need herbs, you need blue mushrooms, you need honey for like all your main healing items, right?
Yeah.
Or bitter bugs.
It was just
run those 3 and you're like, nope. And then you didn't do any of the optional quests, which upgrades your farm so you can have more. So like you're at a point in the game where you could go back and do those low rank and high rank optional quests that unlock that stuff super easy by yourself, right? And then you could like get that going, and then it would ease some of that gathering you need to do. Because I got to the point in Monster Hunter World where like, okay, I just always would grab like the rare ores if I saw them or I had a chance. Like I always would focus on the monster. But like they ran away, sharpen. Oh, here's an ore. I'll grab it. So that way I'm always getting a little trickle in, and then I always have my garden feeding me the stuff I need to make my important like items that I need to refresh. So I'm at a point where like I'm keeping self-sufficient.
Yeah.
And I don't need to like stop and gather a herb when I see it or a blue like it. Only if I have a bounty for it.
Yeah, I noticed that when we were playing together. Like, you don't waste any time picking up anything, which was also frustrating because you're just, like, chasing the monster down, and I'm like, hold on. I got to use 3 healing potions. I got to grab all this stuff I see as I go because, like, I need every little bit I can get. And you're just smacking the monster, and my slow ass comes up and does like one hit with my switch axe. Oh my lord!
I just run it, and I'm maining greatsword mainly for in world, and I'm just running around with a big sword, jumping off things, attacking things. Like that's like my whole MO.
I really missed the wire bug element so much.
That's the thing I missed the most. I was really happy to have the slingshot back. I really enjoyed that.
I need to learn how to use that.
It's funny that there's certain little things that I really appreciate about World, and then there's the certain things I miss about Rise. I think they're both really good, but Rise is definitely a faster playing game. Like all the characters move a little bit faster, and maybe it's just how much faster the wire bug feels too. But I do notice that the dual blades move in demon mode much faster in Rise than in World.
And see, that's the thing though. It's hard to say that for sure because I don't have an armor set and gems
that help that
to up my evade, you know what I mean?
True.
Like I need to be able to do that before I could really say for sure that World moves slower than Rise. I know it felt like that to me, but I think that's my own fault. And that made me think too, like another thing that we had mentioned in the beginning was the visual difference between Monster Hunter World and Monster Hunter Rise.
Yes.
And I was like, we'll go back and see now. I got to admit there was a point pretty quickly when we were fighting a monster that I did notice like just massive detail in the scenery and in the monster. But I think this is a me thing. I don't really care about that so much. Like, Monster Hunter Rise looks great. There is definitely even better detail in Monster Hunter World.
Yes, absolutely there is.
But I don't need it. Like, for me, I just don't need it.
I agree. Because, like, if the graphics were that important, Monster Hunter Rise wouldn't be as fun, right? But it's not.
It's just as fun.
It's just as fun. And honestly, they made Rise look really, really good. I mean, other than World, it's definitely the best looking Rise, like Monster Hunter game. Like Rise.
Yeah.
World's ahead of all the like 3DS ones that came out. And it's just like when you're fighting like Basilgeuse, how his little drop pods will kind of sway sometimes.
Yeah.
And like, there's all these little touches that really make the monsters feel so alive in World. That's really nice. It doesn't make the game any less fun though. And if graphics are more important for you, play World. Like, I mean, that's just obvious.
I just think it gets to a point where graphics are good, so good that when you go above and beyond, and I would consider Monster Hunter World like above and beyond. There's moments when it looks like a movie. Mm-hmm. It just doesn't seem as necessary to me. But I don't know. Like, I get why it's cool, but at the same time, I think there's this old school thing in me where I'm like, we grew up playing the Super Nintendo and everything. Like, there's a point where we're like, we just kind of don't care because we don't need it. Like, we're used to using our imaginations to like fill in the gaps, I think.
Yep.
And if people love that, want it, need it, that's fine. But I just don't see why you wouldn't play a game because it's not graphically up to a certain standard. I don't think that's any reason to like knock a game.
I just feel like gameplay should come first and graphics should only be important. And I've said this before, if the graphics are a detriment to the enjoyment of the game,
right,
then you need to do some focus on the graphics. Which it would have to be
really bad at that point, wouldn't it?
Sometimes there's design choices that make the game harder to play. Like,
can you think of an example?
Let's go back to old Monster Hunters. Now, if you went back, if I made you go and pull up my PSP
I'd cry.
And I made you play Freedom,
I don't think I want
it'd be really hard because the gathering points don't stick out very well. Like, they do a nice thing in World where your scout bugs will kind of light up an area you can gather. In World, they just kind of stick out really well, like you can see them. But in that old one, you had to bring out a pickaxe. You had to bring out a bug net, which could break depending on the quality of it. Oh, you had to bring 5 of each, so you had to waste your item, your pouch, slots, which was a pain. And like, you would see an ore like tucked in, and like, if you didn't know that's what the ore looked like, it would just look like the wall. Or butterflies. There's just a little like 2D almost butterfly, and it looks like it's a background butterfly. Nope, run up to that. You can grab that. Or, like, there's little parts where it was like you had to learn that you could grab it or like run through it and see the like, hey, do you want to get this? Yeah. And they've improved that over the years to make that more obvious. Yes. Which is nice. That's a bad graphical choice, but they were going for a much more realistic approach in the beginning. And now they're much more understanding of like, hey, give the people a little bit of help. That like, that's not the realism people are looking for.
There's kind of like a line you got to walk where you want it all to blend in with each other and look really natural, but yet at the same time you need certain things to stick out so people know they can interact with it.
That's why I think the scout bug thing was a kind of a smart idea, because it's like, oh, it's my bugs telling me it'll
just tell you like there's 3 items in this spot where you're standing that you can grab, and then you know to look.
Yeah,
and especially once you know what it looks like, you know what you're looking for, and that makes it easier.
Or sometimes if things look too abstract that you can't tell like the difference, or like there's just some games, and it's hard for me to remember because usually if I play a game like this, it's like, okay, I'm not playing this anymore. Like, I can't tell the difference. It's very rare that the graphics are bad enough that they're a detriment, but most of the time it's fine. You don't need to worry about it. It's not a big deal. It makes me think of back when I think it was when the Xbox One originally came out, there was a Gladiator game that Xbox was pushing. It was called, I think Rise, R-Y-S-E. And it looked amazing. Like, this game is still one of the best looking games on the Xbox One. And it was kind of a mediocre action game. So they focus so much on making it look so real and so good when you're playing it. And I'm not going to lie, the game looks amazing, but when you're sacrificing how fun the game is, it doesn't matter how good it looks. I could go play Dead Cells, which is a little 2D Metrovania, and have a blast playing that. Or like Monster Train. It's a cool design, right? But it's not like focusing on the most realistic looking graphics. Amazing game, right?
Right.
But I rambled up enough about that. It's just, you shouldn't avoid Monster Hunter Rise just because you don't think it looks good enough.
It looks great. Like, it's not bad at all.
No.
Monster Hunter World just looks so exceptional. To me, that's what the difference is.
They worked really hard on it.
Monster Hunter Rise is great looking. Monster Hunter World is exceptional. It is. I'm going to admit that. Like, don't pick up on that stuff a lot of the time. And I did notice it, just genuinely notice it when we were fighting a monster. I was like, wow, this scene right now looks fucking wildly good. Like it almost looks real. It's cool.
They put a lot of work into making it feel like a real living environment.
I can't even imagine how much I would have no idea how that works, how you do that, but I can't imagine how much work they put into it. It's like the Batman cape thing when you made me play Batman. I mean, when you notice that cape swirling around and even you just telling me like one guy just focused on that, it's nuts how much work probably went into Monster Hunter World to make it look like it does.
Yeah, it's insane. You know, it's funny. Capcom I think it's their 40th anniversary this year that they've been in business.
Capcom.
And they had a little like E3, not E3. You know, everybody does their own like showcases
update,
nowadays.
Right?
Yeah, yep. And Capcom, everyone was hoping because Sunbreak finished releasing all the stuff they're going to release for Sunbreak.
Yes.
And everyone's like, okay, this is the chance. Ride the Monster Hunter train. Tell us World 2 is coming out. Didn't hear nothing about it. And they didn't even talk about their new mobile game, Monster Hunter Go, which is made by the Pokemon, or Monster Hunter Now, sorry. It's made by the people who made Pokemon Go. And people are talking about it. People say it's pretty good. A lot of people are like, this is what's going to pull me away from Pokemon Go, is Monster Hunter Now.
So it's out?
It's not out yet, but like people have gotten chances to play it, so I'm kind of interested in checking it out.
Is it like Pokemon Go?
You walk around, monsters will be in the world, but like I think there's gathering points for gathering material. Like you kill monsters to get parts.
I don't even want this to be real because I could imagine this just taking over my life.
And they said like,
oh my gosh,
when you get into a fight with a monster, like people were saying it takes like about a minute and a half to get through a fight, and you can choose what parts you attack, and you can do you haven't had to do this yet because you haven't played a Monster Hunter that's this old. You had to throw a paintball on the monster. And if you didn't, when they left an area, you didn't know what area they were in.
I think I vaguely remember that from the very first time you tried to get me to play a Monster Hunter game.
Make sure you paintball this thing before it leaves. Because like you can follow it, but if you're not, they always go faster than you, right?
Yeah.
And if you don't, all of a sudden you're like, unless you know exactly where the monster is going. Like there were some monsters I knew their route, right? It didn't matter, but... So what you do is if you're out and about, you can paintball a monster. So when you get back home, you can fight it. And I thought that was kind of interesting. So like, I'm interested in seeing more and I'm kind of excited, but I do hope that we do hear about a new Monster Hunter. I hope I don't have to.
Greedy.
I'm not saying I want Monster Hunter World 2 to come out this year or even necessarily next year.
I just know they're working on it.
Yes, that's all I want to know. I just want to know that, like, hey, we do got it in the works. And I don't want to have to wait till next June to find out that they're working on one, unless it's coming out next year. Then maybe I'll forgive them.
But I don't know. Like, I enjoy Monster Hunter Rise so much. I just can't imagine a next one being better or cooler or anything. It's going to be hard. I don't want to put that kind of hopes and dreams out there.
Well,
don't crush it. Don't crush my hopes and dreams. I feel like Capcom.
they do a good job. And
Make it good.
They take everything they learn and add to it.
Yeah. I mean, I love Monster Hunter World, and Rise was somehow cooler and better to me.
Yeah.
Anyway, so... I got faith in him, I guess. But
all right.
So I got sucked in, of course, with Monster Hunter, and then I have really wanted and needed to play Hitman.
Yes, needed. I think is.
I did want to. I like Hitman. I enjoyed that game.
Yeah, but you made a big mistake.
Well, so it kind of got to the last minute because I was so sucked into Monster Hunter. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, okay, I'm going to play Hitman tonight. It's going to go great. It did not go great. I couldn't even finish a mission. Like, it's always hard to go back in. I have not played that game for so long. I mean, over a year probably, right?
Yeah.
That was the over first a year. One you had me play. So I don't know why I thought I would just jump in and be cool. And it's not like the controls are hard or anything, but going from the high octane pace of Monster Hunter and then jumping into the world of Hitman, I did not have the patience that I needed. It's really hard for me to slow down, and that you have to be slow. I caused a lot of chaos.
Yeah, it was so funny. I like, okay, so I helped you like get started because the menu's a little bit of a pain, right?
Well, it's been a while.
Yeah, so we just went to the next level in Hitman 3 you were on, which is like, the level's called Apex Predator. You go to like this underground rave, which is kind of cool, right? Well, Rose, it's been so long since you played it, you didn't remember about like, hey, there's areas I probably shouldn't go into. And like the first thing I see when I come back into the room is her dragging a body out of a hallway full of people into a trespassing area and then knocking him out, like killing him. She didn't knock him out. You snapped his neck. Because you wanted to steal his clothes, but you couldn't. And then someone else comes in, you knock him out. And like, and that's like the first thing I see. I was like, maybe we'll go back to one of like the first levels.
And I had already died 2 times before that.
Yeah.
That was my 3rd attempt that you walked in on. Yeah, so then we went back to original Hitman, tried the first mission on there.
The runway level with the fashion show.
Yes.
Yep.
There's 2 targets. That also just became a chaotic mess every time too. Like there was a point, I don't even know why I did what I did. There was some girl.
You heard a conversation.
She was like part of like a story lead conversation, and she's supposed to like go up to one of my targets. I'm like, I'm going to follow her. And then like it goes around a corner through a doorway, and I put her down, snap her neck. And then again, like I had a moment where I remembered like, I can't steal her clothes. Cause that was like in the back of my mind, like, I'll just pretend to be her.
History repeats itself.
It's really hard to remember I'm a dude when I play Hitman. So snap her neck. Matt's like, what are you doing? There's a guy right there. I'm like, what guy? I don't see a guy. And of course, then I start getting shot. Yeah. And I'm just trying to like take this. I'm trying to run away, and I just keep getting into more areas with more people. It's just, the game is wild. There's so many people around. Like there's never one security guard standing by himself. It's always like multiple people, and you got to try to like lead them away and everything. It's a different mindset. It's a different way of playing. And I was not in a good headspace to do that. Cause I think you kept saying, I think you feel a little rushed because you feel like you got to get this done and you're not taking your time. And I mean, I wasn't getting super frustrated because it's still fun.
It was hilarious watching
We were laughing. Like, it's still fun to do and just screw around in.
This is the order of things I remember. You follow this girl into a hallway. You knock her out. You snap her neck. I tell you that there's someone behind you. You look around. I don't see nobody. Drag her body into a bathroom. Come out. Oh, there's the people. And then you go into a restricted area, knock out the first person you see, snap his neck, take his clothes, and then you get away for a little while. That's the wild thing. There's like there's a while where like you're actually, nobody knows where you are.
Yep.
And then you go into another area you shouldn't be in with that costume, and then you knock another guy, and then there's just everybody's after you, and you're just like running around, punching people, shooting people. Right behind this huge fashion show, everyone's freaking out. It's like, oh my goodness, this is like, and then like right before you died, you switched your clothes one more time as people are standing there shooting you. Hold on, there's bullet holes in this outfit. I'm gonna put this one on.
I was hoping if I changed my clothes, they'd be confused and leave me alone.
Yeah, not if you change your clothes right in front of them.
I don't know how smart the NPCs are.
Oh my goodness!
It was so fun.
It was an amusing ride to watch.
The best part was like I did like get away and get the heat off me for a little while.
Yeah, it worked for a little bit.
Around, and you're like, I don't know how you did that. And it's like, watch me, I'm gonna finish this mission.
Oh my goodness!
Finish that mission.
No.
And then the one time, like I knew it was all going south. I see, and like people are after me. All of a sudden, I turn a corner and see my target, and I just walk up and snap his neck.
Just right in front of everybody.
I get shot immediately after. Like, it's just fun.
Oh, that was good.
It was so fun.
That was really good.
That game is so interesting because it is such a different way of playing a game. And we were talking about this too. It's like chill, but so exciting at the same time. What did you?
I think it was like it's a lot of like you have to like chill patience with tense moments.
Yes, there.
That's Hitman because like you can walk around. You can spend hours playing one mission and just like hang in the crowd, checking everything out, and no one will stop you. No, you're gonna be fine. But like then you come to a point like where you have to try to single out a guard to get his outfit, or you have to try to sneak past people. And it's so funny how you get this shift of like it's still calm. You're still being calm, but it's so tense because you're like, please make it through, please make it through, please make it through, you know? And that's what's exciting about Hitman. Like those moments, like it's not like Monster Hunter, like I just like jump up and like, woo, we did it. Like I did something cool. It's like, oh my gosh, I can't believe I did it. Like it's this completely different type of excitement feeling when you play that game.
Yeah.
And I do think like, I was worried about it when
I decided started to do with these. Hitman.
Yeah, maybe.
I should have.
But we were excited to play some Monster Hunter together, and I think that's just the way it goes. I think Hitman needs a little more time because I think for you, like I played enough of it where I can kind of jump back in a little easier. I think you needed a refresher from how long ago you played.
I also think like that's not my kind of play because I'm not the most patient person in the world. and it's not that I don't enjoy that game because when I finally get in that headspace,
oh yeah,
I was really
you were rocking
enjoying it.
Yep.
It just takes me a long time to like get slowed down enough. It takes me a while of playing to like really get in the right space of playing well. And I did not. I mean, in one night, I'm not going to get there, unfortunately.
No, that's a little too rushed.
But it's still, like we were saying, just so fun to play it and screw around in it, too, and just do funny things.
It was amusing. Like, I was like, I wish I was recording this gameplay right now. Because this
and just making you laugh.
Oh, it's so good. I think maybe we should do a stream of it, like, be watching you play Hitman sometime.
Everybody can watch the chaos.
It would be so good. Well, some of my favorite, if you ever go on YouTube and watch Video Game Donkey, his Hitman videos are so good. He does cause literal chaos for no good reason, and it is hilarious.
That game is perfect for that.
Yeah, it
really is.
It's a game that takes itself very seriously, but at the same time is okay with being silly. One of the things you can do to cause problems is you remove a wet floor sign and people slip on the wet floor, or you can throw a banana peel on the ground and cause people to fall. So it's like this game that like takes itself very seriously, but also is willing to have fun at the same time. And that's what makes it really fun. And like really good people, I've seen some people like really like speed run through these levels. Like they know them so well.
Yeah, you can. And that's the thing.
And it's kind of fun to watch them. Like there's like achievements for getting through the level in your Hitman suit. Like you wear the classic suit, you never change clothes, and you still assassinate the target while getting away with nobody seeing you. And it's kind of crazy what people are willing to do. But if you're confident enough, right, you can do anything.
I mean, that's an achievement right there. That's going to make you feel good if you actually get that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's a rush.
I guess it's one of those things where I feel like the problem is we started doing this podcast, and we always got to move on to the next thing, right?
Yeah.
And it's hard to come back and fully enjoy some of these really fun games like that, and that's a little bit of a bummer.
Yeah. It is a little bit because I don't know. It is fun to play, but at the same time, like to me, the benefit is I'm finding so many things that I really enjoy.
Yeah,
and can jump into, and a lot of them are things that I never would have tried.
That's true.
Ever. Or things that you tried to get me to try, and I'm like, nope, not doing it. Like I played it for 5 minutes, and I'm like, I don't know what's going on. I'm done. You know. So it's nice that I actually get to get enjoyment out of this stuff now.
It makes me happy. It makes me happy to share my one of my hobbies with you like that.
And I'm having so much fun with like almost every single one of them. I mean, it's pretty rare that I have one that I hate. And like even thinking about it, it was hard for a second to think of one I didn't like, and then I was like, oh yeah, Far Cry 3. I hated that. But and Tomb Raider.
Yeah, I was about to say, I'm surprised you didn't say the Tomb Raider one.
Those two are so similar to me and both bad in the same way, except Far Cry 3 is maybe a little worse just because of the language towards women in there. Really pissed me off.
Pretty rough.
Yeah.
All right. Is there anything that you want to say about either of these games before?
I think they're both really fun, really different from each other, and I enjoyed coming back to them. I enjoyed it just as much or maybe more than I thought I would.
Yeah.
Like I've always said, I really like Hitman and I would play it again. It's just not on the top of my list. It was nice to go back and do it because I just had fun with it.
Yeah, I kind of realized when you were playing Hitman last night, I'm like I forgot, like, okay, it takes a little bit to get back into the swing of Hitman too. So I picked, I didn't think Monster Hunter World would take as long to get in, but I think it was the dissonance of you didn't have anything to rebuild your stuff, so it felt like it took longer to get back into Monster Hunter.
Well, I mean, I got in the swing of it. It's just I have a lot of work to do.
Yeah.
And that was a little frustrating to me because, like I said, I thought my delusional little brain forgot what a mess I left and didn't realize that I left everything just such a mess. And so I thought I was going to progress in the story, like I said. But I'm okay with not doing it. It's just there's going to be a little more work before I can. And that's fine.
Yep.
Because I enjoy playing it. It's not like it's misery.
No, absolutely.
Oh, no, optional quests.
Oh, no, I get more monster parts.
Yep.
So you feel like your ratings hold up? They didn't, like, decrease?
We should check what I rated them. I don't remember.
I'm pretty sure... I think you rated Monster Hunter World like 9 out of 10 or 10 out of 10. And then...
I don't remember what I gave Hitman.
I think Hitman was 8 or 9 out of 10.
You
gave it a pretty good rating.
I totally agree with those. I think Hitman's a great game. And of course I love Monster Hunter. If anything, I just love that more and more as time goes on.
Yeah. Once it gets you.
Yeah, like that game Monster Hunter gets better and better and better for me. Hitman, I think, stays the same. I think it's genuinely just a really damn good game and really fun. Like, you can take it seriously, and that's exciting. Like you said, the anticipation, the cold sweats. I love that part of it. But at the same time, it's so fun to sit there with a friend and just screw around and be silly with it.
Absolutely.
It's a great game. And it's done really well. It still amazes me how much they build up each campaign, each map. There's so much going on.
Yeah.
And there's so much to it. And those places are so big sometimes. It's nuts, like what you can find. And like you said, you could spend hours just doing one mission.
Yeah.
Because there's so much to just mess around with.
To check
and
out.
Find out.
You never know. Yeah.
There's so many options.
Yep.
And then, again, just makes you want to play it again and again because you can do it a different way this time.
Yeah, all the different story missions you can find to find ways. Because, like, the one you found before you went rogue was you take the place of a guy that wears a lot of heavy makeup on the runway because you, like, have the same cheekbones as him.
Yeah.
Which is kind of a cool way to get close to somebody.
That would have been fun if I had not absolutely gone wild.
Like, and this always makes me think of one that I really liked was there was this really jerky musician guy. And how I did it is I rigged this retro microphone he had to record a certain sound that was recalled because if you put the wrong voltage on it, it could cause people to get electrocuted. So basically I tampered with this mic, got it set on there as a like roadie, and then flip the switch, he goes to sing, just gets fried. It's like, yep, that's what you get, karma, bitch.
Amazing.
Yeah.
When you put, what do you think you get when you put like a Devil Joe in a blender?
A Devil Joe in a blender. Pickle relish?
Oh, pickle juice.
Oh, it's close.
You were so close. You stole the thunder.
Yeah, it's so close. Hey, I've been calling Devil Joe the big angry pickle for a long time.
I thought you would like that.
I love it. Anybody who's played Monster Hunter is going to appreciate that joke because Devil Joe does look like a big ass pickle with teeth.
A big angry brown pickle.
Oh, freaking Devil Joe, the bane of so many hunts. Oh,
he is very annoying.
Yeah, you thought Basil Geese was annoying, right?
Basil Geese isn't annoying. He's just like, you see him and you're like, oh, fuck, you know, because he's tough. He's just tough.
Yeah.
Him and his stupid bombs and his hard body and he's flying and,
yeah, he goes to the beach workout area a lot. He's got a real hard body, just big pecs. Oh.
Basil Geese, you're just like, oh, shit. But Devil Joe, you're like, God, you big fucking pain in the ass.
I know.
Just
dragon breath, that hurts.
flailing his body around.
And then he beefs up like the Hulk when he gets angry, which he does a lot.
Yeah.
Oh, my goodness. All right, let's get to the end.
I got it over with.
We did it. Good job. High five. Woo. I want to thank all our listeners. I want to thank Brother Ray for our caricatures.
Yay.
And I just appreciate all y'all for everything you do. Feel free to leave a comment, a like, a follow, all those fun things that let us know that you guys actually enjoy everything we're doing here. And if you have a game that you think it would be really interesting for Rose to play, I highly suggest leave a comment on Spotify, on Apple Podcasts, on our YouTube channel even. I check that pretty regularly. And I mean, I'm always interested in hearing what people think. So
yeah. Thank you for the music.
Oh, yeah. You're welcome. And I guess we'll head out. I'm Matt.
I'm Rose.
And this has been Co-ople Mode. You keep gaming with your bestie. Ta-ta!